That's right. It was a motivated Rams team that took the road trip to Philly. And in the fourth quarter, Eagles with the lead. And it's Saquon Barkley taking it 78 yards to the crib. That was his second rushing touchdown of the day. Barkley went for 205 on the ground. He was a beast in this one. And then with seconds remaining, Matt Stafford trying to make something happen on fourth down. And he could not find Puka Nacua. It is your Eagles that win this one 28-22. And they will be facing their NFC East foe in the NFC Championship game.
And Nate, after the game, it was our own Evan Washburn catching up with Eagles DB Isaiah Rodgers.
Congratulations, a wild game in wild conditions. What was required to get this win?
We just had to lean on our brothers, man. You know, we worked all year for this. We worked all year for these type of moments. And it just come down to what it's all of us. We're our biggest opponent, man. And we know that when we come out here and just do what we need to do, there could be better outcomes like this. We got to keep going.
This defense set the tone. What impact do you think your unit made in this game?
We never let our heads down, despite the weather, despite like the score or anything like that. We just kept going. We knew it wasn't over until it was over, so we just had to keep going.
What was it like to play in these conditions?
It's fun. You know, it's moments like this you dream as a kid, so just out here having fun, man, living the dream.
Heading to an NFC Championship game, your thoughts on a matchup with the Commanders?
We got to be ready. We know they're ready. We know this is what everybody's waiting on, so we got to go out there and do what we do and play ball.
Congrats. Enjoy it.
Appreciate you.
And we will be waiting for it as well. So taking a look at the bracket, with the win, the Eagles are moving on to the NFC title game. They will host the Washington Commanders. Meanwhile, in the AFC, the Chiefs are awaiting the winner of tonight's comment.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles were fantastic today, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Jalen Carter is the most disruptive player on the Eagles roster. I mean, Bond played excellent, all of those things, but Jalen Carter making plays in the run game, sacks against Stafford, just constant pressures, impressive performance from the defense.
One of the best investments I've seen in NFL history was the Eagles going after Saquon Barkley and paying him. He is quickly just rising up the charts of becoming a Philly legend. If they can close this out and make this a Super Bowl run, he will be one of the best Philly sports heroes ever.
The third time they're going to meet, Washington and Philadelphia. And Washington won the last one that was in Washington. This will be a game, again, they know each other well. Can the young man, will he blink? Jaden Daniels
hasn't blinked yet, Coach.
He's answered every challenge that's been thrown at him. Can he do it one more time?
Well, Daniels, just say Daniel was in the Lion's Den. He came out unscathed. Right? No doubt about that. Yeah. Hey, folks, time now to make every moment more with FanDuel. Your best hunch could be the play of the day.
Well, we talked about James Cook. I mean, he's the guy that's kind of the engine on that team with Josh Allen. So I'm taking James Cook to score a touchdown, an anytime touchdown.
Yeah, if you pay attention to this Ravens offense, yes, they have Lamar Jackson. He could throw the ball and use his legs. They have Derrick Henry in the backfield, but they really work through Mark Andrews. So I'm going with Mark Andrews and anytime TD.
Yeah, in that Week 4 matchup, the running backs for the Baltimore Ravens were a problem for the Buffalo Bills, covering them out of the backfield. My hunch, Justice Hill, anytime touchdown. This guy's going to make an impact on this ball game.
HQ presented by the all-electric Acura ZDX. Precision-crafted performance. We're at halftime, the divisional round of the NFC. Eagles lead the Rams 13-10 after 2 touchdowns, but 1 missed extra point. And from the link, the winner of this game will host the Washington Commanders on Championship Sunday next week. Great to be with you at halftime, folks. I'm Tommy Tran with Leger Douzable and Pete Prisco. Duz, I'll start with you. What has been the difference so far in this 3-point lead?
Missed opportunities for the Philadelphia Eagles. Right there before the half, you have an opportunity right there to A.J. Brown on the fade ball, and he just can't secure the ball. Now, we wonder, would some of the weather maybe have some impact on guys securing the football? And then Jalen Hurts takes an ill-advised sack, and not only does he take the sack, Tommy, but he fumbles the ball and knocks them out of field goal range. So they had an opportunity to get points right before half. Let's not forget, they started with the ball, so the Rams get it in the second half. Also, this Rams defensive line is getting after this Eagles offensive line in the pass game.
And Jalen Hurts is holding the football. Yeah. He's got to turn it loose. I mean, there's going to be opportunities. You got to turn it loose. And just like last week, he's been a little reluctant to throw the football. And I think that has to change in the second half. And for the Rams, look, they had some chances to get more points too. Those short yardage situations set them back a couple different times. They got to run the ball better in those situations. But aside from that, I think if you ask the Rams right now, you'd say, hey, you're okay 13-10 at halftime. halftime, they say, okay, we're fine with that. They kind of weathered the storm early. They weathered the long run by Barkley, and they're right back in the game.
Sean McVay was asked right before going into halftime, giving up 177 first-half rushing yards, which I'm sure that he'll address there at halftime. Let me ask you guys about Saquon Barkley. Had his left hand and wrist being examined. Any cause for concern for you guys?
A little bit. Always when you're in like close combat, you worry about him securing the football. When you have two hands over the ball, guys ripping at it. We'll see if it affects him going forward. Now, he didn't play as much as we're accustomed to him playing in the first half because of that injury. So you talked about the timing, 170 yards. Jalen Hurts has been a real big part of the run game as well. Kenneth Gainwell had a nice 10-yard run. Maybe we see more of him because of the injury. But it's a concern, especially when you get in that close quarters, guys ripping away at the football.
I'm actually surprised they haven't run the ball more. I mean, they've had such great success with it. I'm surprised they came out throwing the football. Then they finally got Barkley going, and Hurts had the long run. But I'm surprised they haven't run the ball more. They're much bigger. They're much more physical. And when you don't run the ball, it plays into the advantage of the speed and athletic ability of the Rams defensive front. So I'm surprised they didn't run it. They will run it a lot more in the second half.
One of the conversations that we had leading up to the game was how this LA Rams team would handle the inclement weather. It came in the second quarter. Dues, from what you've seen from this Rams team, will there have to be any adjustments outside of the normal tactical things, or what do you think will happen in the locker room?
I think there's going to be adjustments on both sides. We were talking about this earlier. When you have some inclement weather, more specifically precipitation, it actually bodes well for the offense because as a defense, we're reactionary. So you're reacting to what everybody is doing. You can kind of see it on the field. Some of these players are on their tippy toes trying to figure it out. So would not be surprised if they change some of their cleats at halftime to maybe have some studdeds in. That way they have more traction because it looks like the snow is collecting on the field right now. So that's something to watch. Now, I was pleasantly surprised to see how Matt Stafford came out, threw the ball efficiently. But ever since that first drive, he hasn't thrown the ball as well as the weather has gotten worse.
Yeah, and they need to attack Isaiah Rodgers, who's in there for Quinyon Mitchell is hurt. You go after him in the second half. If he's getting some man-on-man opportunities, hit the one big play down the field against him, and I think they'll do more of that. I thought before the game Cooper Kupp would do a lot more. He hadn't done much, and I think he needs to get going as well. Sit down in those zones. When you have those opportunities, stay there. Stafford will find you. He'll throw some passes that way. It's a big opening drive in the third quarter. I mean, if they can go down and get points right out of the gate, I think it sets a tone for the second half.
Yeah, the one guy that we talked about pregame, Tyler Higbee, has been big for them, especially in the zone, and I thought that would be an area they would attack because Oren Burks is a really good player against the run. He made a heck of a play on the screenplay, but he can give it up in the pass game. And even in Bond, you know, Bond's had a all-pro year, but sometimes in zone coverage, you can have him. Matter of fact, on the touchdown that they had to Tyler Higbee, he was the one that was out of place. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has outside leverage. He has inside leverage. He didn't get over the top quick enough, and that's how Stafford was able to find Higbee in the zone coverage. So look for Higbee to continue to get the ball the second half.
Rams get the second half kickoff, and again, the winner of this game will host the NFC Championship game, which will be the Washington Commanders after their win over the Lions. And news today, Dan Quinn, confirming that his guy Sam Cosmi, torn ACL, done for the rest of the year. He even said that this was a big blow for the team. Pete, how will he be missed, and how will they try to reinforce it?
He's their best offensive lineman. Yeah. And when you lose your best offensive lineman, it's tough to handle. Now, Trent Scott went in there and did a really nice job. I haven't watched the tape yet, but just on the TV tape, he looked like he did a really nice job. So they'll be okay. Remember, when you're in a hostile environment, you have to go on a silent count, and that right guard is the guy who makes the call to go. And he was doing it. Trent Scott went in there and did a nice job with it. But anytime you lose a key veteran like that and your best offensive lineman, that's a big blow for them.
Yeah, I hate this for Sam Cosmi. To Pete's point, he has been their best offensive lineman, not only pass protecting, but run blocking as well. Trent Scott did come in and play really well for the Commanders, but anytime you lose your best guy, it affects the run game. Now, Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler actually got the run game going, which is a surprise because they've struggled running the football the last few weeks. So Trent Scott did a really good job being able to get to the next level. Great job with his angles in the run blocking game as well. But this is a massive blow for the Commanders.
If you spin it forward, you know, it's probably Jalen Carter and Davis you're going to be blocking, or Fisk in that group, and there Turner as well. So it's a challenge for wherever, you know, when you go on the road the next week in the championship game, it's going to challenge that offensive line without Cosmi.
And let's touch upon the late game that we'll have on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. It is Ravens and Bills, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. One of the things, of course, with Bills Mafia and having their players, as Mac Hollins has had a thing where he comes out barefoot, And then Dude's bathing suit and bath towel ready for this game, which is supposed to be as bad or worse in Orchard Park than it is in Philly.
It's supposed to be in the teens. Teens, Tommy. This guy, not only that, is that sunscreen on his nose?
Yeah.
So is he trying to psych himself up, letting everybody know it's not that cold?
Zubas, by the way.
Yeah.
They were popular about 3 decades ago, and Buffalo still makes them popular.
This is
Those
funny.
pants, those striped pants, those are big deal.
The old school ones. Before we wrap things up, biggest difference, what you guys are looking out for in this game coming up at 6:30. Pete, I'll have you go first.
How do you defend the run game?
Yeah.
How do the Bills defend the run game? And the flip side of that is, how do the Ravens defend Buffalo's run game? Because it's been really good in the last 10 weeks of the season with Cook.
I'll go the opposite side. When you look at this Bills offense, Josh Allen has played elite football this year because he's gotten the ball out of his hands. Right now, when you go back to that film earlier this year, the Ravens played a lot of match zone, which means they're in zone coverage. Whenever a receiver gets into your zone, you match them. And Josh Allen really struggled with that. So I want to see how they attack that match zone that the Baltimore Ravens have on defense.
Okay, whoever wins this game and